Beena I've known since my childhood. She is a journalist, as some of you might know, and a human rights activist, and also has been making a lot of documentary films, some of which I've seen, but I have to confess I haven't seen them all. Babette is also a journalist and a documentary filmmaker, and is based in Holland. She and Beena have been friends for many years, and Babette has had an interest in Pakistan for many years. It just so happened that they were traveling through Islamabad, and I thought, and Beena, that it was a great opportunity to just have an informal chat with them about their work and about the work that Babette has been doing really in Pakistan and for Pakistan. So without any further ado, Bernie, please come and take over.
Okay.
Okay, so
I will start, now you start.
Okay, so like Poppy said, that we're very old friends, and Babette and I go back to 1988. When she was here in Pakistan, in Lahore, where I was then based, and she was here doing a radio series of radio documentaries about Pakistan, and they lived in Lahore for 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months, traveled all over the country, and I helped them with some of their stories. And I had just moved to Lahore, so for me, it was a really fantastic way to experience my own culture and my own country with experienced journalists like Babette and Niemel, and I learned a lot at that time. And then they fired me, but that's another story.
We did.
Did we? Yes. But that's okay, we're still friends. We are still friends.
When we decided to come to Pakistan, it was in a series, the radio station I was then working for was doing. And it was a radio series we did in countries where something had happened. The media had been there, all the international press had been there. For instance, we were in the Philippines just when Cory Aquino took term. We were in South Africa when Mandela was freed. And of course, after that, all the international journalists leave the country. And actually, then it's when it's really starting, that is where the stories are. So we came to Pakistan when Benazir Bhutto was elected in her first term. And I remember that the radio station was saying, well, Pakistan, yeah, of course, very interesting, first women prime minister, but Pakistan. And I thought it would be wonderful to go to Pakistan. In Holland, we don't know much about the country. And so we went to Pakistan, and I said to Beena, actually, Pakistan is a country you have to learn to love. And over the years, I fell in love with the country, and I came back many, many times. And that first time, I remember Beena was helping us out with stories, because if you come here as a Westerner, and this is like 20 years ago, 21 years ago, I don't know. It was before my daughter was born.
We were both very, very young.
As you will see later in the clips, Beena was like a teenage mother, actually. But anyway, we came to Pakistan when Benazir was just elected, and everybody said to me, well, you're going to have problems, you know, working as a woman on your own in Pakistan, really dangerous country. And I must say, I was totally surprised by Pakistan, because I found the most, even more emancipated women here than in my country. I had no problem working on my own, being on my own, and I really have a tough time, even now, explaining to my colleagues, explaining to my friends how interesting and how easy it is to work in Pakistan, how forthcoming people are with their opinions and all that.
When it started becoming difficult in 2001, right? After 9/11, I think it became even more difficult.
Yeah.
Those democracy years, the time when we had the musical chairs of democracy from 1988 to 1997, when 99, the democracy musical chairs, Benazir Bhutto, then Nawaz Sharif, and Benazir Bhutto, then Nawaz Sharif, and then Musharraf comes in, and we have another martial law. And then after 9/11, Pakistan, you know, has another image in the world. And I was actually doing my master's in TV documentary at Goldsmiths College in London 2001 I graduated, and I came home and I had just finished my first documentary, which was about Nahid Siddiqui, the dancer. It's a 20-minute film, which I actually had material for 50 minutes, but I had to keep it like not a second more than 20 minutes. And I finished that film, and in that film I tried to encapsulate, like for me that was a film about freedom of expression, women's rights, and all of that, and the whole issue of military rule and extremism in the name of religion, because that's what Nahid Siddiqui is fighting as a dancer. And so I just come back after having done that. And I was at Heathrow Airport, and this was a week after 9/11. This was a week after the Twin Towers. I remember sitting in my kitchen in London, and a friend called me and said, 2 planes have flown into the World Trade Center. This was and a week later I was flying home. And I was at Heathrow Airport at the line, and my cell phone rings, and it's Babette saying, "You're going back to Pakistan, you must do something from there." Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I was there with my luggage and trying to deal with like boarding and this, and she's like, "Look, but we have to talk, you have to do this." So a week later, when I got home, I don't even remember who did I did some of the camera work. I don't remember.
No, but first, because it was after 9/11, and Beena went home, and I wanted to go to Pakistan, and they said, "No, of course not, you're not going to Pakistan, it's much too dangerous." But I knew that Beena was flying home, and I thought it would be so good to show to the audience in Holland that life actually goes on in Pakistan, and I wanted Beena to do a weekly video diary. That was actually the whole plan, and do it like, something like every week or every other 2 weeks. And of course that was difficult, but then they said, okay, fine, let's start with one. Let's start making one video diary, and in normal life, how do you live after 9/11 in Pakistan?
When 9/11 happened, this is another discourse that hasn't changed. When 9/11 happened, I lived in Malaysia, and I remember actually watching TV and seeing the second plane go into tower number, whatever. And I was just thinking then that the world is changing in front of me.
Yeah.
It's never going to go back to
history,
yes. And it was a horrible, horrible sight which I can probably never get over. But then my next thought was, oh my God, I hope there are no mad Pakistanis involved. And then there weren't any. 17 was it of the 19 were from Saudi Arabia, 2 were Yemeni, and yet somehow the discourse remains that Pakistan
had part in it,
and Pakistan is an unsafe place, and Pakistan is one of the main enemies and axis of evil, and that's another discourse that hasn't changed, which just shows the power of media and projection.
And you were right that still, what happened in Afghanistan when the Taliban took over and their treatment of women, there was outrage about how the Taliban treated women, but the Saudis still do that.
Yes.
And nothing has changed in Saudi Arabia. They still do these beheadings and these floggings and these hand amputations. I don't hear an outrage in the West about that, and I don't hear an outrage in the Western media about that.
The Saudi. It's like us, it's also a split society. It's just that the splits are not really that visible because the media is not free and so on and so forth. It was some, Al-Qaeda had come into existence. Now, I for one do not know to what extent the Pakistani intelligence services were privy to 9/11. I think not, because I'm quite sure we are a very porous country. If any of our intelligence services knew about it, it would have got to Washington in no time.
I think that when we think back of our time, there was a tussle. Let's say that's in the 70s or the 80s. There was a tussle between idealism, perhaps, or certain values, and then suppression. Now the youngster, let's say somebody who's in their late teens or early 20s, they've not seen even that struggle. They've just seen one thing. So there's more cynicism, and we have to be conscious of that. That the youngsters here there is this trend towards cynicism. We have to be aware of that.
They grew up in something different than where you grew up.
Sure.
Their reference is a totally different one. And I see that when I go around Karachi talking to people, you can really see, that there's another force going on. I feel that at least.
In your 10th or 12th visit to Pakistan?
Yeah, I see there is a difference. We were eating at Nando's with Beena's daughter. And all of a sudden, I noticed, hey, there is girls working here, For you, it's totally normal, but I haven't been here for 2 years, and all of a sudden, and she's totally at ease, and she's joking around with the boy. 2 or 3 years ago, that wasn't like that. All these girls are working.
This was very pleasant. Thank you.
Thank you very much.